Hi, I'm Kian, and in this video, I want to show you how to solve a logarithmic equation and exactly what are logs. Logs are a basic math operation and which has a base and a number inside. For example, if we take a look at number 1, how do we read this question? We read log base 2 of 8. So we say the word log and then the base number and then what is inside the log. And how do we solve it? So let me use another color. So let's say we have the answer to be x. We don't know what is the answer. So one way to solve it is to say to change into exponential form and have explained to you. To change a logarithmic equation to exponential form, we should raise the base to the answer of the log, and this is equal to the inside of log. What I mean by this is that, for example, in this case, 2 to the power of x is equal to 8. So what I did, that I changed logarithmic logs to exponential. How? I raised the base to the answer. In this case, our answer is unknown. We want to solve for the answer. So because of that, I let it to be equal to a variable. It can be any variable, y, u, any variable that you want. So now the question is very easy because we know that 2 to the third power is 8. So x is equal to 3. For the next question is a little more complex because we should solve for x, which is inside the um, log. So again, use to change into the exponential form. So we have log base 4 of the square root of x plus 4. So this is equal to, so we have log base 4 of square root of x plus 4. This is equal to 2. We want to solve for x. So again, we use our skills for changing it to exponential form. We raise the base to the answer. So we get square root of x plus 4. The inside of the log is equal to the base raised to the power of the answer of the log, which in this case is 2, is equal to 4 to the power of 2. 4 squared we know is 16. So now, because we have a square root, always for solving a square root function, always we should raise both sides to the second power. When we raise both sides to the second power, we see that the square root nicely cancels. So this is to the second power, this is to the second power. The square root sign cancels, and we're just left with x plus 4 is equal to 16 squared is just 256. These are things you should remember. Also, you can use a calculator. Is equal to 16 squared, which is, I said, 256. And this is a very basic equation, which you know, for solving for x, we should subtract both sides by 4. So x is alone. We want to solve for x. And lastly, we get x is equal to 251. But we're not done because we should check our answer. Because sometimes when solving for logarithmic equation, when we plug in our answer, it might make some small mistakes in our computations. So if we put 251 in square root, we get 256. Square root of 256 is 16, and log base 4 of 16 is just 2. This is true. For the last question, this is a little harder than the previous questions. In this question, again, we have a logarithmic equation, but in this case, we have a quadratic equation, which is in the second power. So how do we solve it? So first, we should change it to exponential form. Again, the inside of the log, x squared minus 2x plus 7 is equal to 10 to the power of 1. You know that anything to the power of 1 is just itself. Now, I want to subtract 10 from both sides. So if I do this side, it becomes 0, and this side becomes x squared minus 2x, and then 7 minus 10 is just minus 3. This is equal to 0. Now, for solving this kinds of quadratic equation, the best method is factoring, and I show you how. So you should just make two parentheses, and you write x, and you don't write anything in this case. You don't write anything. X in the first place, and then multiply it by x. If you have studied factoring, this is very easy. So, in our mind, we say what two numbers has a product, which means they multiply to be -3 and they add to be -2. So again, we should find a value of two numbers that have a product. They multiply to -3 and have a sum of -2. And those numbers are just -3 and 1. So we can put -3 and then +1. And if you check, -3 times 1 is -3, -3 plus 1 is -2. So it's true. And he set it equal to 0. So now we have two equations. So for each of them to be equal to 0, we should set each of them to be equal to 0. That means x minus 3 should be equal to 0, and x plus 1 should be equal to 0. Should be equal to 0, and also x plus 1 should be equal to 0. And this is a very easy equation. So our solutions is just x is equal to 3 for the first one. And this is x. And x equals -1. But we're not done. As I said, we should check our answers. When we put 3, we get 3 squared is 9. And 3 times 2 is 6. 9 minus 6 is 3. 3 plus 7 is 10. Log base 10 of 10 is 1. And also there's a log property which says that when the base of the log and the number that is inside the log are equal, that log is always equal to 1. Log base 10 of 10 in this case is 1. Log base 5 of 5 is 1. When the log has a base equal to its value inside the log, the answer is 1. And if we put -1, similarly, -1 squared 1, -1 times -2 is 2, 1 plus 2, 3, 10. So we are done. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and have a good day.